the
Literally,
allow recording button now again once more time. Yeah. We're finally getting somewhere. Sorry for that, guys. I think it was my fault. I think I accidentally agreed to somebody's note taking. Tyler, I apologize if you were bumped, if you came back on and wondered why you got booted. Hopefully you're able to get back on. All right. Welcome. Happy Independence Day to everyone. Good to see you here. What's going on in crypto land this Friday? I don't know if you guys got big plans for the 4th of July. It's a little rainy here in Florida, or at least in my area. All right, let's get to it. We won't make this a 2-hour long call because I know some of you have plans. I know it's early. I know it's early for most of you. It's noon here, but not much to go over really. Bitcoin and altcoin season might be postponed. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we're in this giant bull flag, right? You know, Bitcoin has been in for a little while. Let me just mute Josh. So this looks like a big bull flag, and we were hitting the top, and we hit the top here, boom, and then we broke through here, and we did pop up above it right here. Went up to about 1096, came back and retested the top of this. This is why we went long yesterday, because it bounced on this and started to make a higher high. Unfortunately, this higher high that it made hit resistance right at the previous high right here. So that's why I had some circles on the last screenshot, and not only that, but back here as well. So we have three areas right here at the 110, I would say 110.5, 110.2 level, 110.5, let's just say. Boom, boom, boom. Kind of like a triple top. But this last one here broke out of this downward trending resistance, hit it as resistance here, came down to this upward trend line here, confirmed this trend line rather, because that was only the second touch point, broke out, retested, started to climb higher and hit that same resistance. Fell back down into this upward trending channel, broke below this morning, dropped down to retest, bounced but did not make a higher high, and then fell through back in to this overall downward trending flag. Kind of like this is what I said in our signal channel, just so you understand. I just explained it live, but this is me explaining it up here. BTC still testing the previous resistance as support. Will it hold? Question mark. Tune in today at 12 noon. This is what it looked like. Here's those tops right there. And it was coming back down to retest this line. Will it hold? Not only was it retesting the resistance line as support, but also this upward trend line, which I'll show you what that is. And then BTC head and shoulder, possible breakdown of the support. Stop loss hit on my previous long. So we have a left shoulder, we have a head, a right shoulder, and a drop. And it looks like it's breaking through. BTC broke through, falling back below. I said falling back into overall downward channel. The bull flag looks like it could get higher. Looks like it couldn't get, that's what I meant to say, couldn't get higher than the 110.5 yet. And then a short. Okay. And I posted this because these are the touch points. Really needs to break below this because it could bounce and then get, come back up into this little wedge. But as of right now, it's getting down to that point right now. It's getting down to that point right now. But that short that I gave a little while ago is I'm up about $629 myself. I did it in both BTC and USDT in sub accounts. And if it does break this upward trend line, then guys, we will probably come back down to this lower area here. That's why I put the TP at 1015 down in here. And I'm going to put it on the board here just to be on the safe side. TP 101500 just for now. Confirm. Oops, I just did that on USDT. Let me do it on this one too. Already have a stop loss there at 108454. 101500. This stop loss that I had up here, guys, once if we get down here and we break, you see this little support level right here where we came up and bounced on that and then went up. If you draw this over to the right here, guys, you'll see there was a big M pattern and support there before it broke. And Paul Young, I'm gonna have to mute you, buddy. You're a little got you loud a little bit, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. I muted you. But if we get below this, it's going to be right where this line is. It might come down below it, right? Sooner. Oops. It might come down below it here, hit this upward trend line here, bounce, get trapped in there, and then break. But if it bounces here, it might only come up to retest this. Because we did have some bounce and retest here, bounce and retest, breakthrough, came back up, hit it here, bounce, and then went through. We could come down and hit this here, bounce, and then break out. Possible. That's usually how it goes. So not overly concerned, but if it does break this upward trend line, guys, then yeah, we're probably coming back down into this channel. And that's okay. It's just the way it is. But here's the interesting thing. Let's go and look at the weekly. On the weekly time frame, the stochastic RSI is still downward trending. They're both below the 80. The blue line did have a little sideways cross action here going on, but it never crossed the orange line. And that happened because of this big dip down to the 98K and this big pump back up, all the way back up to 110. And all of that big pump from 98K back up to 110 only caused this blue line to go sideways for a little while. It never crossed back up above the orange line. And, you know, this is very bearish right here on the weekly. This was very bullish on the price. But this red candle right now, obviously bearish. And the fact that this never crossed, and if this continues downward today, then and through the weekend, because you know we are going into weekend, it is a holiday weekend as well. If it does, then you know we could come down here to the 98K again. And if that happens, you know, we're obviously this is going to continue down. So that's the weekly. Let's look at some higher time frames here. We on the 2 weekly, guys, this is kind of telling as well. On the 2 weekly, the blue line we never got back up to the 80 or above on the stochastic RSI, and the blue line is crossing down and getting ready to cross the orange line. If that happens, that's just more confirmation on the higher time frame that there's might be a little trend reversal here. And if we go to the monthly, let's go to the 6 monthly. This candle, this big candle here that ended at 112, this is the one I've been talking about for a while on the 6-month time frame. That usually marks the top. This candle opened up green, but if it drops just a little bit more to where this candle ended, like right here, which is like the 107, 120. If this comes down to 107, 120, and it's at 107, 650 right now, If it comes down and switches red on the 6 month time frame, I mean, it will start to resemble some of these other candlesticks that once they started, they did go up, but they never quite made it as high as the fourth one. Once they started, they did go up, but never quite made it as high as the fourth one. Once they started, they did go up, but never quite as high as the fourth one. So I'm
Can
not
I
saying
mention
I'm not
something?
saying not saying it can't get over it. I'm just saying right now, if we really zoom in and look, once it started, it didn't quite make it as high as the fourth one. Now there's 6 months, 5 months and 28 days left of this candle. So it could certainly do anything and go a lot higher. And of course, a lot of people are expecting it too. I'm just saying, again, I'm not going to talk any bearish news today. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to do it because I know some people, it's hard to listen to for some people, but I'm just telling you that that is the current situation. Go ahead, Kimball, you were saying something?
I just wanted to mention when you were looking at those red candles that were after the uh, previous all-time highs, that when they went above their opening, they were green for a period, but then they turned red after they drew that wick.
That's correct. That's correct. So once this candle opened here and went up to here, it was green. And then once it comes back down lower than where it opened, turns red. And then this one ended down here before the next candle opened. So that's that whole 6 month time frame right here. Once this one was done, the next 6 months, it went all the way up to 17.5. I mean, the all-time high for that bull market was 19.9, went all the way up to 17. That's like $2,000 or $3,000 less, $2,500 less, came back down, turned red. And then this was obviously the beginning of the bear market, went all the way down to 6,300 before the next candle. So this 6 month period dropped quite a bit. Same for this one. It opened, went up to $996. The top was 1,200. Again, notice something, just a few hundred or a few thousand away before this one. Now this one went up and then went all the way down to $335 and then came all the way back up to 600. That was like a 70% drop and then a 50% pump back up. Then the next candle opened and dropped. But again, never went back to green again after that. But so now also there's something else, and I think I kind of touched base on this. Only once in Bitcoin's, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, only once in Bitcoin's history. Did we have 5 green candles in a bull market? Back here in 2013's bull market top, a bear market bottom, we had an engulfing candle, green, 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 green. First engulfing candle, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth candle was the top. Fifth candle turned, tried to get up a little higher, but turned red as it came down. That was the beginning of the bear market. And then we have first engulfing candle. Then we had a red candle, and then we had a big drop to retest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, but one was red. 1, 2, 3, 4. One red, 2, 3, 4. So this was the only one where we had 5 green candles in a row. And except for where we're at now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 candles already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's the 6th one that just opened. We're gonna have six green candles in a row. That'll be the first in history. So I'm just pointing out all of the history and what's what would be considered a first. And do we bet on things that haven't ever happened before? I personally don't, but that doesn't mean they can't happen. So I want to be clear, it can happen. Obviously, it just would be a first. Now let's look at, we do upward trending. No, I wouldn't do it on this chart, but and also there is another group that I'm in, guys, and is a stock trading group. I've been in it for many years, and this guy is freaking a killer. I mean, he makes millions of dollars probably a month in the stock market. But I mean, he is cruel, he is mean, the F word comes out in every other sentence, and he insults people, and he basically tells you, if you're a crybaby, go home, this ain't for you. Like, he's like mean to all the members. Not mean, not to all the members, but just the ones who complain and are scared to do what he says to do. It's kind of entertaining, but it's not for everyone, right? But my point is about this guy is that he's very rarely wrong when it comes to the stock market. But the reason why I listen is because if what he says is true about what's about to happen to the stock market, and by the way, it's not good. And it goes against everything that you're seeing in public right now. Goes against everything that your perception is aware of at the moment. And he's kind of known for that. He's kind of known for going the opposite of what everybody thinks is going to happen. And he's been right many times. I mean, mostly.
Who said this?
I'm not going to name his name. He's just a guy that runs a stock trading group that I'm in, that he doesn't allow any more members. We're kind of grandfathered in. I've been in it for 10 years, and he doesn't promote it anymore. So he's just a crazy stock trading dude who makes millions of dollars a month trading. He's in another country. He's like kind of flies under the radar. No one really knows who he is. But I'm just saying that what he says is that the stock market is about to crash. The stock market is going down because the dollar is crashing, and doesn't matter what you see on the news. Now, this is him. This is not me saying this, guys. And you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to believe it. All I'm saying is that the guy's right a lot. And I'm trying to even remember a time when he wasn't. So, and so now what does that mean for Bitcoin? What does that mean for crypto? What does that mean for what we do? Well, generally speaking, if the stock market does crash, some people are like, well, what do you mean? It just went down from 6,500, or 6,150 was an all-time high on the S&P, and it dropped all the way down to 4,500 and bounced all the way back up to a new all-time high. We're at all-time high right now in the stock market. It's the best time in history. The economy is doing great. What are we talking about here? What he's saying is that's all bullshit. I mean, you guys remember the Fed? You remember the Fed chairman talking a couple weeks ago that he couldn't even explain? He wasn't lowering the interest rates because when they lower the interest rates, guys, it's when the jobs numbers come out and they're really terrible. That's when they lower the rates. He didn't lower it, but he also said publicly that he doesn't really understand why the economy is doing what it's doing, because the numbers to him don't make sense. Do you guys remember that? Like, he wasn't even sure why the economy, why the prices was pumping, because all the indicators for him were showing that we might be in recession or depression or stagnation and all that stuff. Now, I'm not here to tell you what's actually happening, because there's a difference between what's actually happening and what might be happening behind the scenes. Are we getting ready to flip the switch to a digital currency? Are we getting ready for ISO 2025 or whatever it is, 200.25? Is all that happening behind the scenes right now, and everything's about to switch over? And the players and the powers that be know this. Also, there's something very interesting, guys. Over the last couple of weeks, several wallets holding $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoins or more, just came alive, just came active. that were inactive, dormant for 10 years. These are whale wallets. Whales with 10,000 Bitcoin or more in wallets that sat stagnant or dormant for over a decade are now starting to get active. Why? Do you think it's to buy more Bitcoin or to sell? What would be your guess?
Sold. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't just come alive and say, okay, I think it's time. If you already have 10,000 Bitcoins, you don't come online to buy more, especially when it's gone up from $30,000 or, I mean, $35 a Bitcoin all the way up to $100,000, and you have 10,000 of them. So you turn your $35,000 investment into $1 billion and you're going to buy more now at the top? No.
That's gold.
They're dumping. They're dumping.
Yeah. And so, and guys, again, I am not a doom and gloom person. I love Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to go to $1 million. I'm just not sure that this is when it's going to happen. I'm just not sure that this time in the time frame of the world is when happens. There might have to be some little correction first. And you might say, well, didn't we already have a correction? Didn't we already have this big dump, 20% just a couple months ago? Yeah, we have 20% dumps all the time. That's not a correction. That's not really a big correction. Now, it is a correction, but let me just show you what a real correction looks like. Let's go to the
Nico or Bill, didn't Biden start up like his last couple of years or something, start up the CBDC? I mean, yeah, CBDC, and then Trump stopped it or something like that.
yeah.
The development.
He stopped it, but the concern that Trump was really stopping, and the concern that people had was that the money supply or the digital currency was going to be trackable and traceable from the federal government, and they could turn it off at any time. In other words, you could make $1 million and have $1 million with a digital currency in your bank account, but if you broke any law or they didn't like you for whatever reason, or you were posting on social media something against the government, or maybe you were talking about Biden in a bad way, or the Democrats in a bad way, or the liberals in a bad way, they can just turn your money off. They can turn your digital currency off so that you go to use your debit card and it doesn't work. You go to spend or send money from a wallet and it doesn't work. Now, could they do that now already? Yes. Technically speaking, guys, we are already using digital currency. A lot of people don't think that, but I mean, all the money, when you log into your bank account online, everything you see is digital. It's just computer digits on a screen. You transfer money from your checking account to your savings account. You did that with a push of a button. That's digital. No real money actually went from one account to the other. No one went and took money out of your checking account in a big bundle of cash and went and put it into another account, right? When you write a check for $100,000 or $1 million, no one goes and cashes that check, takes the cash, and then moves it over to their bank and then deposit it. They just deposit the check, and the digits, the computer digits, are just immediately transferred from one account to the other digitally. Right. So I think we can all agree on that. But and when you buy a house, and let's just say you go to close on the house, and it's $1 million house, just for the sake of this example, it's $1 million. You put down 20%. Let's just say 200,000, and the bank loans you 800,000. Okay, and you go to the closing table at the title company, right? And you sit down and you sign the papers, and they hand you the keys. Congratulations, you just bought the house. Do you think that the bank gave the seller $800,000? And they just walked away with a suitcase full of money? No, not at all. Once the loan documents are signed, you now have a note for $800,000. You now owe the bank $800,000 for the loan you just took out, and you put $200,000 of your hard-earned money, the money that you actually worked for, down on that. And the bank created the difference out of thin air, and they gave it to the seller, and they just transferred it to their account. Digits, just computer digits, digitally. And then boom, 800,000 appears in their account, all created and manufactured out of thin air. And now you have to work the next 30 years to pay off the 800,000 you just borrowed that they created out of thin air because they just print money and they just create digits on the screen. And so that's just the way the system has been. So now, but if we go to if we go to blockchain and digital crypto, digital wallets and all this stuff, all they're really doing would be nothing would change really. You would wake up one morning and you would still see your balance. Everything would still be the same amount. You would still have the same amount. Hopefully the value would be there. This is where the fear comes in. The fear mongers are saying that, oh, you need to transfer this, you need to do this or that before this happens because you're going to be wiped out. You're not going to be wiped out. Whatever the form of currency is, whatever the form of the medium of exchange is going to be, whether it's US dollar bills or digital US dollar, USDC or USDT or whatever it is, backed by, it's still going to be equal to $1, whatever it is. And now the purchasing power would continue to go down if they were able to print more of it or mine or mint more of it. The difference is the terminology. Instead of the printing press printing dollars as it used to do with cash, it will just be minting tokens on the blockchain, just like many of these companies do, just like XRP and Ethereum. Bitcoin's the only one that doesn't do that. Bitcoin is a finite supply. There's only so many that will ever exist. And that's why if they were to use Bitcoin as a reserve currency or back the US dollar with on the blockchain with Bitcoin, then it would be like going back on the gold standard. On the BTC standard, it would just be digital gold instead of physical gold. And we wouldn't have to have a Fort Knox. We wouldn't have to have, a store of actual physical gold. It would just be on the blockchain on Bitcoin reserve. The problem with that is there could be some quantum computer being developed right now that could crack the Bitcoin code and cause a problem. Is it 100% foolproof, safe? Do we know? Does anybody here know? Was Bitcoin actually created by the CIA? By the government?
Probably created by the bankers themselves. The symbolism is pretty obvious.
Yeah. So we don't know, but it looks like that could be the case. And they've been they've been stockpiling and hoarding. By the way, who are the biggest owners of Bitcoin in the world? Who has the most? Does anybody know?
BlackRock and Vanguard, or not Vanguard, besides Satoshi Nakamoto, Vanguard, who's not Vanguard, but BlackRock, and who's the other one?
And what governments?
Grayscale.
Right, China, America now. Grayscale, there it is. Hoarding it like gold, like dragons hoard gold.
So the US government is number 5 on the list of largest Bitcoin holders. Satoshi Nakamoto, 1.1 million Bitcoins. The Bitcoin ETFs, all of them combined, 1.104. Why is that more, but they're number 2? Well, because it's a group of people rather than one person. Binance has 633. I want to just share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. And there's a reason why I'm sharing this, because I want you guys to understand. So we got MicroStrategies, Michael Saylor's company, 597,000 Bitcoins, and then the US government, and then the Chinese government. The US government has 198,000 Bitcoins.
The Chinese government one is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And that's just what we know about.
But Donald Trump promised to buy another 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years. At $100,000, that's $100 billion worth, I believe. Let me just do my math here. Mhm. 1 million Bitcoin times 100,000 equals, whoops. And by the way, that's only because Bitcoin is 100,000 at the moment, but it's not going to always be. Yeah, that's $100 billion worth. So that would put the US government in the #1 position if he was able to do that. But so that's just the current situation. So this has been going on for a long time. All of these people, accumulating and hoarding a lot of it. Right. This is the concerning part right here is on the weekly time frame, this red candle. And obviously we are below the 80 on the stochastic RSI and dipping downward.
I have a question, Nico.
Go ahead.
I'm a little confused about, okay, I understand we got 6 more months of this bull run. However, I'm confused why we're approaching a bear market. So do they think it's going to go up? I mean, these people that think it's going to go like to 1 million or whatever, way higher than what it went to 112. Why do they think that with us approaching a bear market?
I would say 99% of the population out there does not know anything about bull market and bear market cycles and does not look at a chart. What they do is they listen to regular people and they watch YouTube videos. And they go on YouTube and they see someone like George. You guys know who George is on YouTube? The Asian dude his name is George. He goes, "Hi, I'm George. You're George. We're all George." So he's got millions of followers, right? And he talks about Bitcoin, talks about crypto, and he's very bullish all the time. He's never not bullish, and he's never right about anything he says. He reminds me of what's his name on CNN, whatever the news. What's that stock guy?
Jim Cramer.
Reminds me of Cramer. Never right
Cramer.
about anything, and he still has a platform. It blows my mind.
He said $100 trillion was coming into the market like last week.
Who?
Kramer.
Oh,
He said that. Yeah, I saw it. He said something to the effect of 100. Money's incoming. Money's coming. 100 trillion.
So if Kramer said
much.
money's incoming, then you should do the opposite because the opposite is usually what happens when Kramer talks. So why are these people allowed to exist? Because they want you to do the opposite of what they're doing. They're trying to get you to do something while they do something else. It's a wag the dog, not wag the tail, but I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called wag the dog. It's like, look over here while we do this over here. Now, if XRP does what they're claiming, if Ripple does become the bank and the founders of Ripple really are in cahoots with all the banks around the world, and they are setting things up for XRP and Ripple to be the medium of exchange, let's just say, Bitcoin will just be a reserve currency. Bitcoin will just be a reserve currency and an asset class, a store of wealth, like gold. Ripple or XRP will be on the blockchain as the money supply, let's just say. So XRP could be what they're all working on because it's lightning fast. It doesn't have all the hangups, all the issues like Bitcoin. It would make a better digital currency, so to speak. And they already have it perfected. So, the governments and the banks of the world are working with them to maybe do that. So if you have a big hoard of XRP, XRP could be the one that makes you rich. Now, trading is a different story. Hoarding, like having a lot of Bitcoin or a lot of XRP is one thing. Trading is another thing. I don't care if Bitcoin's $1.8 million. It's still going to go up and down every day. The value is going to go 1.85 down to 1.79, up to 1.92, down to 1.86. And we're going to be able to scalp it and accumulate more of it no matter what the price is. We're going to be able to make money trading all the time, just like any stock. No matter what the price is, it goes up and down every day. it's never going to be stable. I mean, well, it could be stable once all of them are mined and once all of them are owned, then it will, flatten out where there's not much volatility anymore. But as long as there's people buying and selling it, it's going to go up and down. The problem is that, and I'll get to your question, Angie. A problem is most of the people that are hoarding it in large quantities are not selling yet. But somebody is because there's no way that all of these giant multinational international corporations and MicroStrategies type companies are buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every month, and the price isn't going higher. That's impossible for a finite supply of something. That would be like having a pool with 100,000 gallons of water in it, and every month tens of hundreds of gallons are being taken out every month, but the pool never goes empty. How? Someone must be putting water back in,
Or are they shorting it?
correct. So it's either an equal amount is being sold as to what's being bought, and that's what's keeping the price kind of the same, or something strange is happening. So because it's kind of, I hate to say it, but it seems it's a little impossible for so much Bitcoin to be purchased and the price not continue to go up every single month if there's a limited supply, unless someone with an equal amount is selling. And there's a lot of dormant wallets coming on now that are now waking up, becoming active, and that weren't for 10 years. And you got to ask yourself why. These are whale wallets. These are big wallets. These are billion-dollar wallets, 10,000 Bitcoin or more. And I just showed you the top holders in the world. Those are people who have 100,000 plus Bitcoin. I'm talking about just 10,000 Bitcoin. 10,000 Bitcoins is $1 billion. And are they coming alive? Are they getting active so that they can buy at the highest price that it's ever been? No, they're not. So what do they know? What do they know that we don't know? So let's just look at this upward trend all the way from 15,500. This is the bear market bottom right here. We've been upward trending, support, wick down support. By the way, this wick down right here was perfectly timed. And it was right there. All that did was come down and retest right here. Boom. Wick up, boom, broke through. This was 8 months of downward trending bull flag, downward trending. Before we broke out. And that wick right there was the final bottom before it climbed up and broke out. We had that happen here. We hit an all-time high of 108. Then we double topped at 109, created this downward trending falling wedge. And the final lowest wick, I know it's hard to see, it's right here. Right there. Right here. That was the final wick down before it bounced out and broke a new high. What was that wick? That was that support. So as you can see, we come up and we hit resistance, boom, we break out, hit a high, resistance, we retest, break out, retest, break out, hit a high, resistance, come down, retest, boom, break out, hit a high, new all-time high, 112, that was higher, not much higher than this one. This one was much higher than this one. This one was much higher than this one, but this one, couple $1,000 higher than that one. Very similar over here. Hit it high, came down, hit the 30K zone, bounced, made another run for it, wicked up to it, wicked through it to 68.8, couldn't hold above, came down and was it. So if we just bring that all the way over, guys, that was the previous all-time high. And here, when we did get above it, this was the only reason. By the way, this was the first time we ever got above a previous all-time high. I'll put that right at the top there, right here. This is the first time we ever got above an all-time high before the halving, before the 4-year halving. And all we did was wick above it, come back below, wicked above it, came back below, wicked above it, came back below, wicked above it, came back below, wicked up to it, came back below. And then once we broke out of this bull flag, we hit it. Resistance, 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 wicked above it, resistance here again at the all-time high, then finally broke out. So all of these little micro moves, all of these little support and resistance levels obviously mean something. I just pointed it out. It's like once you see it and once you really have your lines drawn in the right spot, it's kind of amazing. And so what do I think has to happen here? Where are we going to come down to? I mean, we just broke above previous high here. Would we have to, let's see, right here, maybe this little pump right here. Let's just take a line and take that over. Where is that? That's at 97, 98. We actually already did hit that, didn't we? Look at that. Right there, boom. And then we came down to it. This was the wick that wicked down to it. So maybe we are ready to pop out and have a blow up top, really pump up to the upside. Maybe we are. Because that's the same thing that happened here. And it's similar to happen here. And all of these other ones, let's just look at this one. We had a bullish flag here as well. Interestingly enough, we pumped. And we wicked down here before the breakout. Where was this? Right there. That was the resistance here, boom, boom, before breaking up. We tested that before breaking out. And that was also major resistance, 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 support, resistance, resistance, support, support and resistance, support, resistance, breakthrough, support, breakout. Look at this wick up here first. We wicked all the way up to here, came back down, touched that first before breaking out, came back up and hit resistance, broke through, and then retested that wick right there. Interesting how that works. And then right here, when we broke out of this overall bull flag, we came up and hit the top, hit the top. Remember I told you sometimes before the breakout, we only come halfway down. We broke out, and the first resistance we hit was the previous all-time high, right on the nose. Finally broke up here, wicked all the way up, and hit this all-time high, 73. And then we finally popped out. And we never retested it once we broke out until here. Boom. Then we broke out. So and we just retested here. So that seems like this would be the time that we would break out, right? But how long does this go on? Forever? Do we just keep doing this forever? Go back to the last time. There does come time. We go back to the last bull market, we can see here, we have major resistance. We broke out, retested, boom. See here, we came up, we had resistance. This is the weekly, so it doesn't look like much here, but we had resistance, we broke out, retested, boom. We were down here at $3,000. Let's just look. This was kind of strange here when we came down to the bear market bottom here at 3,100, and we finally popped up and we went all the way up to 13,000 and double bottomed all the way down here. People thought back here that crypto was over. This was over, but it was just the beginning of the bull market. And this was the first time that we actually dropped back down to retest this level so low. And really, it's kind of interesting because right here we had major resistance, resistance, support. Now we have this upward trending support line as well, so that is also very important because every time we've made a new high, we came down close to it to touch it. Make a new high, come to close to it to touch it. In fact, we did touch it. I'm sorry, let me just move this to the right spot. So we got a couple, we got a touch point right here. Here, here, and here. And we could hit that first before breaking out. And this could be a long little cycle right here, all the way into August. Remember, I told you on the last call that we got about 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks before we know for sure, whether we're gonna make a new high or not. And it's because of this line. If we break below that, another thing, guys, is, you know, I know 70K is a long ways away. It's all the way back down here. But even if we wick all the way down to 70K, even if this happens, you might think, oh shit, we're in a bear market. But if we stay above 70K, then we still have another shot for hitting 150K Bitcoin in this bull market. If we just stay above 70K. That really is the point of no return. If we go below that, then you can consider, you know, bear market. But if we stay above that, this could just be a big pullback. And by the way, that would be normal. Let's just go to wherever the current price is right now, 107K, and just drop that down. That's only a 30% drop from where we're at right now. We already did that once in this bull market. Here's one right here, 30%. Here's one right here. We do that all the time, so don't be scared about that. That happens. 33% there, right? That's not even a big deal. Here's one right here, 21%. So these drops happen all the time after major pumps to the upside. We usually have some big consolidation periods. 22%. I mean, look at that. 22%, 21%, 21%, 31, 33%, 31%. If this did come back down to retest that at 70K or 75K, that would only be a 30% drop. We've also had much bigger ones, guys. This right here, from here to here, was 55%. Boom, and then came all the way back up. This right here would be considered the 5th candle in the 6-month time frame. 4th candle ended here. That marked the top. We came down, 5th candle open, and came all the way back up and wicked a little bit above it after a 55% drop. So that could happen as well. We could have a 30, 40, 50% drop and then still shoot all the way back up in this 6-month time frame. So Angie, basically, not many people know anything about what's going on. And so, and most people also think that this time is different. Every single bull market cycle, they think this time is different. Every time. That's an 80% drop there. Oops. 72% drop there before a big pump to the upside. So I'm not overly concerned about it because we have not broken this upward trending support yet. And let me just show you something else. Every single time, every single bull market, you see this yellow line right here is the 2.36 on the Fibonacci going back to 2013. Here's the 2017 bull market, 2.36. Here's the 2021 bull market, 2.36. and here's this bull market, 2.36. The 2.36 on the Fibonacci has always been hit in every bull market, except the last one. In 2021, we only came up to the 1.6. Now the 1.6 has been hit in every bull market so far. That's this line right here. We hit it, and then we even went through to the 2.36. Bear market, we come up, we hit the 2.3, the 1.6. The only time we never went through it to the 2.36 was in 2021, and that could have been because of COVID or FTX. All kinds of scandals in the crypto world happened at the same time. We had an economic meltdown, and the whole government shut down, and I mean, the economy shut down. So not many people were focusing on crypto at the moment. They were more in survival mode. Chaos happened, right? So, but now here we are in 2025, and we came above this red line. We came above the one on the Fibonacci, and we're in the blue zone here. We're already up here in the blue zone. We got halfway up. Every single bull market in history, we went to the 1.6. If we do, that'll be $176,000 for Bitcoin. If we break that and get up into this zone, and it'll be $541,000 for Bitcoin if we hit the 2.36. So all of that is possible, but only if we stay above this white line right here. Anybody want to guess what price that is? $70. That's the 70K zone right there. We got to stay above that, because if we fall back below that, we're back in the red zone here, and that has never happened unless it's a bear market. That has never happened. So once we fall below that 70, then it's probably over in the short term as far as bull market. But if as long as we continue to stay above that 70, and by the way, we can come all the way down to it and bounce. If we bounce and stay above it, and when I say stay above it, I mean like on the weekly time frame. On the higher time frame, if we close a whole candle above it, then chances are it's holding a support. That's what it needs to do, because this was major resistance going back to 2021, and we hit it here at 73K. We hit it, and we went into a giant bull flag, and for 7 months we stayed below it until we finally broke above it. So major resistance. It needs to hold as support. We came down and retested it once. We bounced, and we came up to 112, and here we are kind of just sitting here at 107. If we come back down to that level, and we need to stay above it, that's all I'm saying. Okay. So now, on the other hand, here's some more information. Here's a 4-phase cycle analysis. The target price of $200,000, mathematical balance point when all three metrics converge. Timeline Q2 to Q3 of 2026. That's 24 to 28 months post-halving alignment. Probability 84% based on current trajectory analysis. Okay, so that's like a year from now. I don't know. I don't know about that. You know, whenever I see people guessing the future. Yeah, go ahead.
Whose analysis is that?
That's a this is a it's a cycle analysis. I can't remember who did it, but it's a computer. It's not a person's idea. It's based on all these I'll find it and I'll share it with everyone. It's based on what is it? The money supply and the Fed and all kinds of different things all putting together, where they come up with these calculations, kind of like on coinmarketcap.com. I can't remember where I got it. It might have been CoinMarketCap, but I'll find it and I'll share it with you guys. This is just a screenshot that I took just
right. Well, if we're supposed to be going into a bear market, then how can they project that it's going to go up? It's just kind of,
We're in a bull market, and we could have 6 months left of it, and that would,
I see.
but that would only bring us to the end of the year, not necessarily to Q2, Q3 of 2026. We
Yeah.
go into a bear market right now. Bear markets generally tend to last a year. And then, which could happen, which we could, and then we can pump from there back next year, pump right back up to all-time highs. So, I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't know. Whenever I see anybody predicting anything,
No one's got.
Mike K. Hold on one second. I'm reading comments here.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to make sense if we're going to go into a bear market. That's all.
Yeah, I don't see this happening, this world currency thing, not with Trump anyway. I think he's more of a nationalist. I don't think he wants to get involved in the rest of the countries, everybody for their own. I know that the World Economic Forum, they were all pushing for this. They all wanted that, but they kind of all dissolved and went away. No one was supporting that. No one was supporting that other than the liberals, leftists, and the World Economic Forum people. And those people kind of all stepped down and retired once. And they even made an announcement on the World Economic Forum when Trump got reelected. They basically said the people don't want this. They basically said that. Whatever that Von Schwab guy was, the evil leader, whatever his name was, the guy who wore the costumes that looked like he was like flying on a satellite above everyone. He basically said, he basically said that the people aren't ready for this yet. And he stepped down and retired. Now his son took over. I'm sure their agenda is still the same, but Trump made it very clear at the World Economic Forum that he ain't subscribing to all that shit, and neither does the American people want to.
Hey, Nico, where were we at with that 6 month? Isn't it going to set new precedents if that candle prints and we're still moving up in an upward trend?
Yes, it would. And I did go over that here. It would set new precedents if it went above it. But let's just go back to it real quick right now.
Isn't that due to completion in July in this
No,
month?
it's already that candle on a 6 month time frame already printed. This is it.
Oh, it did.
So the top was 112. That's the highest that we got during that candle. And if this fifth candle goes above that, that would be.
Oh, that's right. That's what
that
we
would
talked
be.
about.
Yeah, that would be the first.
Right.
And sure, it's possible. This time could be different. People say, "Oh, this time is different." Well, this could be. It did happen once before in 2021 where the fifth candle printed and went up higher than the fourth candle. This one in 2021 was the only time it's ever happened, but it never held above it. It just wicked above it and came back down. It was still the beginning of the bear market. That was considered a double top. Here we are right now. Again, I'm not trying to beat this dead horse here and make it sound like we're going into a bear market right now, because I really don't know. I don't know. I'm just showing you the charts and showing you what has happened in the past. And I think it's good for you guys just to be aware so you can make your own decisions. By the way, you hear Chad talk on his training when he talks about his thesis. Whenever you hear someone talk about their thesis, that's their ideas. That's their personal opinions. And you guys need to come up with your own thesis. Now, when you're brand new to this, you don't have a thesis yet. You're kind of just trusting other people to give you their thesis because they should know better, because they've been trading longer, right? They're smarter. They've been doing this longer. They understand things more. So you have to kind of trust other people's theses in the beginning. But the goal is to get to the point where you can make intelligent, educated decisions on your own. And you can look at these charts yourself and say, well, I don't care what Nico says. I don't care what Chet says. This is what I see happening. And you can come up and believe. That's called a thesis. When you have your own thesis, when you can see something and say, this doesn't make sense. So when I'm talking here, this is my thesis, guys. I'm just telling you, like, based on what I'm seeing, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles right now. That's a first ever in the history of Bitcoin. That from a bear market bottom, we had 5 green candles in a row, and now we have a 6th one. And it's still green, but is it going to stay green? in this bear market, in this bull market, we had a bear market bottom. We had a first engulfing candle. If this one would have been green, that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this one wasn't. And then we had a double bottom here, where we tested the bottom. And actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would have just been 5 because this was the 5th candle that did close green because it went up a little higher. So now this was the only other time that we had 5 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles. And same with before, we had 1, 2, 3. I mean, never before. All the previous bull markets before that, we had 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see here, this is healthy. We have a small candle, then it gets bigger, then it gets bigger, and it gets bigger. And then that's the end. Small, bigger, 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 bigger. This one was the anomaly. This one, we had a problem. This bull market got off to a bad start. We had a first engulfing candle. We had a red candle after that. And then we had a big jump back down to retest these lows. And then we had a huge candle. Then we had a small candle. And then it was all over the place. And this is why this was the first time that we never got in up to the 2.36 in the Fibonacci. We never broke the 1.6. And that was the first time that happened. We had FTX collapse, which was the first time that the mainstream media was promoting an exchange with that Freud guy, and who's in prison right now. And so many celebrities and even politicians were promoting it. And it dumped, and that was a centralized exchange. So for those of you who are scared of decentralized, just remember the major exchanges that have all went down and screwed people were all centralized exchanges, not decentralized so far. So all that happened here in 2021. So now here we are. We had a nice bear market. We went down to 15.5, and look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 green candles. Pretty healthy bull market from 15.5 all the way up to 112. Is this 5th candle here? I mean, is this next candle here gonna be green also? I mean, right now it is. Because why? Because it opened above the 107 when this candle printed on July 1st. It opened above that and went up a little, went all the way back up to 110. But now it's coming back down, and now it's at 107.8. And all it needs to do is come down to 107.1 to flip red. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, that would just be in line with every other time. So I have to say it, because if I don't, that would be like me giving you a prescription as a doctor without examination. That would be derelict of duty. That would be malpractice. I can't tell you what I think is going to happen without reading the charts, and I can't read the charts without showing you what I'm seeing. So, am I right? I don't know. Time will tell. I'm not even saying one way or the other. I'm telling you what will happen if this happens, what will happen if this happens. So the way I like to do it is I like to give you, if this, then that, if that, then this. That's more in line. So the truth is we have a giant bull flag, and bull flags tend to break to the upside. We are in a bull market. Bull markets tend to go up. We have made a higher high at 112, but we could not get back above it yet. And we're coming back down here and retesting. It is a holiday weekend. We are going to the weekend. So there still are tariff wars. There still is a jobs problem. I know Trump is working on it. Things look like they're coming into play, and things look like they might be getting better. But we have all this economic unrest. We still have all kinds of problems. And so is it ready yet is the question. I don't know. So what we try to do is we take all this information and we try to make the best guesstimation, the best decision based on everything that we see. And, you know, a little 6 or 7 or 8% or 10% drop to the downside ain't nothing. That's normal. We've done that 1, 2, twice just since a month ago. And what would happen if it did that? Well, nothing really, because it's just in line with this overall downward trend. I mean, it would be the same. It would just be a continuation of the same. Back here, we did it. Back here, we did it multiple times. This was back in January. We did it multiple times on the way down. And then back here, we did it for 8 months straight, right here. Where we dropped from 75K down to 59K, went all the way back up to 73K, dropped all the way back down to 58K, went all the way back up to 72K, dropped all the way back down to 54K, went all the way up to 70K 500, dropped all the way down to 48K. And then that was the beginning of the breakout there. But this went on for like 8 months. So I just like to, make you aware of everything. Now, as far as the current trade, I mean, I did go short on this breakout to the downside here because we were in this upward trending channel and we wicked up here and then we broke below it here, dropped down to 108 and then busted through that. What is that downward trend line right there? That's the overall top of that bull flag. We literally, I'm going to change the color so you can see which one I'm talking about here. We literally just went through it to the upside, bounced on it, made a little bit of a higher high, bounced, could not get higher, bounced, could not get higher. So what do we have? We have a high, a lower high, we break through, break back down inside. So, and then if you zoom out, that was a clear kind of head and shoulders there as well. Interesting. How far we broke down so far. Now, what did we do? Just exactly what I said. We come down into this little channel and we bounced and we're coming up and retesting the top here. So if we bounce here and then start to climb and get all the way back up, that's a different story. But as of right now, we already broke below the major. I mean, this red line, guys, was major resistance going all the way back to the very first time we came up to this high. Right here. And we hit this resistance on the second. We hit it here, and then we came down and we tried here. We couldn't get to the red line, but we hit this resistance. Here, we came up and hit red line right at the same resistance. And then here, we come up and hit the red line as resistance. And then here, we break through the red line and then hit this line as resistance and then come back down and retest the red line and then break back through the red line. So to me, just not enough buying pressure to get us above this level here. And how many times? I mean, that's attempted it several times. And so all we've done so far is just come back down into this overall flag for the time being. And we are also retesting this upward trend line right here on the lower time frame, which is just since we came down to, this 98K level. We went up, we retested it, and we're retesting that kind of right now. We're getting ready to retest that soon, in my opinion, like sometime today. This is the 10-minute time frame, so probably later today we'll either wick down and hit it and bounce, or we'll come over here and fall through. If we bounce and climb back up, that's good. But if we break through that, obviously then I'm moving my stop loss into profit, and we will probably come back down to these levels. The first resistance after that happens will be right about here. At 105. And if we break that and hold as resistance, And then we're coming down to 1.15 again. Let's see, what are the odds of this happening, guys? It's about 50-50. It's about a coin toss. While I'm reminded, let's go look at Element. Element has got some new love happening here. I mean, if we go back to here, guys, this was August of 2024. Oops, hold on. This was May, June, July of 2023. So for 2 years, it's just been slowly trending down. We had a couple pumps up like this, but for 2 years, it's been slowly kind of just holding the support level. And just over the last couple of days, we saw some major buying pressure. Normally, we have a big spike up like this where someone buys and then it comes right back down. Someone buys, comes right back down. But we've got some buys and buys and buys and buys and buys and buys, and it's climbing again. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you go into our Discord channel and go to ICOs. Element is one of the ones that we've put in here. Here is the token address. You can go to DEX tools. You do have to have Ethereum to buy it. This was one that I bought 2 nodes 2 years ago for $2,500 per node. So I'm actually minting Element token, which you could do, but I would not recommend it because one node right now is about $6,000. Let me just show you guys.
Yeah, I bought some a while ago, but yeah, it's on a Coinbase wallet. You're able to buy it too, not. But it
Yes.
does cost, like for me, it's you have to have $100 of Ethereum to get $50, like basically get $50. It's
Yeah, you're going to get screwed on that exchange with Ethereum, guys, because Ethereum sucks right now. Now, Ethereum, we'll talk about that in a minute here. Ethereum still has huge potential, guys, because so many other utilities are operate on the Ethereum blockchain. So, you know, a lot of banks, a lot of companies, a lot of big infrastructure, gaming, AI, they're still operating on the Ethereum blockchain and have big plans for Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum could still be a huge winner in the future. So keep that in mind. But to buy, so let's just go to my nodes here. I got 2 nodes active. A node, by the way, guys, just for those of you who don't know, in the crypto world, you can, some of these come, by the way, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but nodes are, I'm going to have someone who is an expert in nodes come on, and I'm going to invite him as a guest. And there's several other giant ICOs getting ready to launch. ICO stands for initial coin offering. This is when a coin is launched for the first time. Now, back in the day, we used to get into ICOs and we used to share them in the group, and these were pump and dumps. These were just anybody could create a token, but the ones that we share now, like Element here, these are launched by huge multi-million and billion-dollar companies. They don't need your money to launch. They already have a lot of money back in them. In fact, the founders of Element, the people who bring Element to us, are the same people who brought Gala to us. My friend, who I'm going to have talk on this call, or talk on a call in the future, he bought 9 nodes for Gala, and they were $1,000 per node. A node allows you to mine or mint the token. So it's not you buying tokens on the open market, it's you minting them, you becoming part of the founder circle, so to speak, where you're actually minting the tokens that other people can buy at that point. And when you do that, and I have two nodes here minting Element tokens. So if I look at my rewards, you can see that so far since 2023, as you can see, there's 1,800 pages here, 1,800 rows of 10. Let me go to rows of 100. You can see I'm minting about 1,387 tokens per day. But when I first started, it was about 3,000 tokens per day per node, by the way, per node. So why did I do that? Because, and I pay $2,500 per node, so that's $5,000 I have invested. And my total amount of element that I've minted or earned so far is 3,267,114. So if you take that and divide it by the current price, I don't even think I could sell them all right now and even get my money back that I invested on the 2 nodes. But on the other hand, I've accumulated 3 million of these tokens over the last 2 years while we're waiting for Element to get traction and maybe get listed on major exchanges. If Element does get listed on major exchanges like Gala did, just to give you an idea, my friend bought 9 nodes of Gala back when the same thing was going on, back before they went public and went live. He spent $9,000. It was $1,000 per node. He bought 9 of them, and he made $6 million when Gala went to 67 cents on Coinbase. So this is a long-term play. So if Element gets up to, I don't know, 20 cents, let's just say. Let's say it finally breaks out, finally gets listed and gets up here somewhere in the, I don't know, 20 cents range. I mean, 2 cents. Let's just say 2 cents. I have $3.2 million. 3 million. I'll just do the math here. 3,267,114 times 0.02 cents. That will be $65,000. So my $5,000 investment will have paid off. But if it gets to 20 cents, right? If it gets to 60 cents, like 67 cents, like Gala did sometime in the future, we got 3,267,114. That's just right now. Every day I'm printing about 3,000 tokens. Here's the cool part. So if this gets to 67 cents, that would be $2,188,000. But here's the cool part. If when that happens, I sell all 3,200,000 of my tokens, I will pull out $2.18 million. But I still have 2 nodes, and those 2 nodes will be minting me 3,000 tokens a day, every day. And what does that equal? So the very next day after I cash out $2 million, the very next day, I'll have 3,000 more tokens. 3,000. And the price, let's say the price is 67 cents. That would be $2,000 a day every day after that I'm earning. Every day. Let's say the price just stays at 67 cents and never goes up. That would be another 700,000 a year. But it could come back down. It could go to 67 cents and it'll be bull market, and then go in a bear market, come back down to 30 cents. I don't know. But that's the gamble, guys. That's the risk we take, and that's what investment's all about.
Nico, what were the factors that made you decide to buy those 2 nodes at 2,500 a piece? Because a $5,000 investment probably means you were you knew something that people didn't know.
The guy who introduced me to it made $6 million off Gala. Gala was the parent company that started Element, and this was the 3rd project they did, and every project they did went on a major exchange. Every project so far before that went on a major exchange. So I took the risk.
So you weren't looking at the functionality of the token itself. You were just going based on the fact that they've had prior success with.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did, but I looked at that, yes, but I looked at it in the lens that they're looking at it, whereas they don't take risks. They don't put millions of dollars into something that they don't believe in. And so these were big companies behind this, the parent company. And by the way, they've got several of them. Switch was one of them. Another one that they did. Gala was one of them that they did. Stitch or Switch, I can't remember which one it was. Also all went on major exchanges. And so they just have a track record of bringing, tokens. Now, if you go and look at Element and you look at what's behind it and what their purpose is, it's probably the most utilitarian, fundamentally sound, awesome project I've ever seen. So in addition to that, if you go and understand what they're really about and what they're doing, they do have a YouTube channel. But here's another point I'm trying to make. after all this time, after 2 years of buying elements, I've only accumulated 3.2 million. So let's just do the math again. 3.26 million, right? And then multiply that by what the current price is. What is the current value of this? Right now, it is 0.0007 cents. Let me just refresh that. Is that correct? 0.0007 cents. Those 3 million tokens times 0.00072829 equals $2,507. I don't even have half my money back yet if I were to sell everything right now.
Where can I buy Element right now?
So yeah, that's the great question. And that's my next point. You could buy more than 3 million tokens. You can catch up to the amount of tokens I have right now for half, for 2,500 bucks. You can go right on Dex Tools right now and buy. You just have to have Ethereum in your wallet. And you go right here to Dex Tools. And by the way, all you got to do is go into the, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you this is how to do this. You can do whatever you want. But if you go into the ICO section of our Discord, and right here is the Dex Tools link that will take you right to Element Token. It'll bring you to this chart right here. And then you come over here and you have to connect your wallet. You could do this with MetaMask, you do it with Trust Wallet. You can do it with any kind of wallet that you already have on an exchange, a soft wallet or a hard wallet, whatever they call it. And then you have to have Ethereum, and then you're going to be connecting your wallet here. You click connect, and a pop-up window will come up like this, and you pick the wallet that you have your Ethereum in. So for me, it would be MetaMask. And then once your wallet's connected, you have to have Ethereum in your wallet, and then you click the buy button. And when you buy the token, it will go in to your MetaMask wallet. I'll just show you one that I have up here right now while we're here. Let's see if I can open it. It's not letting me. Let's see. All right, we don't want that shared. Hold on a second. That's the opposite of what I was trying to show you. A little MetaMask. I was going to show you how to use MetaMask if you haven't done it before. Hopefully this works. There we go. I'm back. All right. As you can see here, if I scroll down, I have 1,277,000 Element tokens sitting in my MetaMask wallet. That's in addition to the 3 million I have still over here. I forgot about that. I did transfer some already. Hold on one second here. Let's go back to what I'm showing you on my other. Yeah, over here. Yeah. Total earned, last reward distribution, 1,300. So I do move some out. I have withdrawn some to my wallet. The reason why is because if I'm ever going to sell, I need it in my wallet. I can't sell it from this platform. This is where I'm minting them on the Element platform. I'm minting them over here, but then I literally have to go to wallet, and then I have to transfer it out, from here in order to get it to a place where I can actually sell it. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but since I've done that, I've moved some over. To this wallet, and it's just sitting here right now. and the current value is about $1,000. But if this ever pumped up and it went up to, you know, $1, for instance, guys, I mean, just think about it. Could it? Could it? Yes. I mean, it could go to there's coins on Coinbase, guys, that were started out for fractions of a penny that are now $37 on Coinbase, and you could have made millions and millions and millions if you would have bought those tokens on an ICO before they went public, before they went on a major exchange. It's just like the stock market IPOs. You probably heard of those back in the day. That, you know, an initial public offering, if you were able to get that stock before it went public, you could have made a lot of money. And this is the same thing in the crypto world. So right now it's showing here that it's 0.008 cents. But if this thing just loses a couple zeros and it goes to 10 cents, or it goes to, you know, 20 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents, 80 cents, this million tokens that I have is going to be worth a shit ton of money. And then all I have to do is just go to a major, in fact, I don't even have to do that. I can just click on it right here. Watch this. If I really want to, all I got to do is I could sell it right here, just click the sell button. And I could just sell it right on. Go back over here. All I got to do is keep hitting the wrong thing. That's why. I could either go to the exchange that I was just showing you. I could either come over to Dex Tools. Right here, and I can just connect my wallet and swap it back to Ethereum. And then once it's Ethereum, I can send it to Coinbase. I can send it anywhere and convert it to USD cash, and then just cash out, take it back to my bank account. Or I can convert it to BNB or something like that, something more stable, USDT, whatever I want. So with that being said, Dex Tools, the links are in our ICO channel. Again, guys, there is no guarantee that this is going to go to the moon. I'm just telling you that the reason why I shared it in our group and the reason why I took a risk on it is because of the people behind it. Very large players in the game who have brought several cryptos from ICO status all the way to major exchanges that went up drastically. I've seen a good friend of mine become a multimillionaire from these nodes. And now, you know, if I told you how many nodes he has on Element, I think he bought like 100. When they went on sale for $2,500 each, it was $2,500 when I bought them. I spent $5,000. Now, if you want to buy a node now, let's just go. Let me just show you. Nodes, store. One node right now is 6,800. 2.73 ETH. So you could buy a node and that thing will start printing you 1,300 tokens a day. But for 6,800, you could just go on Dex Tools and buy, you know, 10 million, 8 million tokens. So that would be a smarter move. I would not buy a node now. Now, the cool thing about the node is that if you did buy a node right now, the cool thing about it is that if the price does shoot up to, you know, dollars, then you're going to be printing money, literally. That's what nodes do. They're minting every day.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you sell your node by any chance? Nodes?
Yes. Yes, I would. If I were to sell my nodes right now, I could charge, let's say I charge $10,000. I just want to get my money back plus double, 100%. You could buy the nodes plus the 3 million tokens I have sitting in there. And I would just give you the login for this. And you would just change your password. And that would probably be the way to do it. You would control it at that point. I would not
I
have
see.
I would
Thank you.
basically sell you my wallet.
And did you mention that originally it was printing 3,000 tokens a day, but now it's down to about 1,300 a day?
Yeah. So if I go to my rewards here, it's about 1,300 per node. And if I go back, like, let me just go to, if I go back to, and it's not going to let me.
What makes it
See, you
start?
can see they were more. It
What
was
makes it
more
start printing less over time?
because there's there's no
More
sorry,
people minting.
more minting, less distribution. But as you can see, oh shit, back here it was 6,000. See, 6,000 a day because I had 2 nodes. So it's dropped. And right here, back in the beginning, I had 1 node, and then I added another one somewhere along the line. I can't remember. About a month later, bought another one. But yeah, this is, as you can see, this is April 2023. And this is just money being printed every day without me doing anything. Now, it's fractions of a penny per, per coin at the moment, but I'm taking a gamble. I'm taking a risk that someday it's going to go a lot higher. And there's a bunch of people in this group who did also do that at the time when I first announced this, and they're accumulating as well. Let's see, I did see getting points. Let's go to
Nico, what happened if it doesn't go to the exchanges or whatever?
The price, the value of the coins could go down, and then I could just lose, it could go to nothing, I'm sure. If I sold right now, I could get $2,500 back out of it. But that's kind of the gamble. That's the risk you're taking when you do stuff like that. It's a calculated risk. It's a long-term play. It's only if this company does what they say they're going to do. And as of right now, they are. In fact, they have a Discord group as well. Once you, as you can see right here, let me go find them right here. This is it right here, Element, official Element. And they have live calls that they do, just like I'm doing right now, guys. They have support. They have new people jumping in here, buying. Welcome, welcome, welcome. They have general information here, all these different things that they're doing to promote and support the token, and related news, all kinds of stuff. And then node insiders, these are the people that have nodes. We have our own little channel here. There are some people in the group that don't have nodes, but they're still part of the community. So we got the nodes insider. These are the people that are holding nodes. And then, they have their own little community here as well. You can probably request. If you go on YouTube, I think you can find them there as well.
So the chances are pretty good that it is going to go to an exchange.
Well, I'm betting that it will. They think it will. They're working on it. And I think that when you understand what they're actually doing, guys, if you go to, let me just go and see if I can find them up here for you.
Sort of like going public, right? A company going public.
Yes, it takes time. It takes time for sure. Here's their YouTube channel, Element United. They don't have a huge following. They only got a couple thousand subscribers, but they do explain what they're doing. They do explain what the token is about. And I think once you really understand what they're about, it's kind of crazy. Element's goal is to digitize gold and other precious resources by purchasing gold mines, securing them with nodes and smart contracts on the Element blockchain, and issuing digital rewards to participants in its ecosystem. By doing this, a financial incentive is provided and an alternate economy is created to incentivize miners to reduce or limit mining to only essential work. This system will grant greater access to the digital asset to a larger group of people. If you understand what they're doing is they're going to these third world countries, all these little countries in Africa, where they have these gold mines where they're literally putting slaves to work to mine gold. I don't know if most people really understand what's happening, but they literally have whole towns, whole little tribes and communities that are digging with their hands for golds and diamonds, right? And these diamond mines and these gold mines. It's sad, really, when you see what's really happening. And if anybody steals a diamond or gold, they cut their hand off. They cut their foot off. There's been documentaries about this, right? So it's an atrocious industry. You're buying a necklace at the mall for your girlfriend or for yourself, your boyfriend, whatever, your husband, wife, and you think it's beautiful and you're spending $500 or $1,000 or $10,000 on this diamond or this necklace, somebody probably got very hurt or came close to dying to dig that stuff out of the ground somewhere in the world, right? And we don't really think about this in America. So what Element's doing, it's going to the mining company, the company that's digging, that's creating this mine. By the way, the mines create a lot of damage to the ecosystem, to the environment. So when they find gold and they decide to dig for it, they literally use dynamite. They use all kinds of chemicals to erode the soil to get the gold out and to start digging. And by the way, they're poisoning the land. The little tribes and the little communities that live around there end up getting diseases and cancer and all kinds of stuff because of it. And then the miners that they hire to go down and dig by hand, they make them strip down to barely wearing any clothes so that they don't have anywhere to hide precious stones or gold or anything that they find. And then they have to go through this, they have to get hosed off at the end, and they check their orifices to make sure they didn't stick any gold up their ass or in their mouth or anything, or any diamonds. I know it's crazy, but they do this. This is how so far behind technology they are. And then the ringleaders, the lords of these operations, they take the gold, they basically just feed the miners or the slaves a pittance, for their work and their effort, and then they sell that gold or that diamond to somebody, and then that person sells it to somebody, and that person sells it to somebody, and finally gets to your jewelry store. There's like 5 middlemen in between, right? A lot of money is being made along the way. You're paying full retail for it at the end. So what is Element doing? They're going to these mining operations and saying, hey, how much gold do you have down there? Let's scan the area and see how much gold is actually down there before you waste years digging for it. And then however much you have for it, we will pay you to not dig it up. Interesting concept, right? They're going to pay the miners to leave the gold in the ground. And then we, as node holders, we benefit by incentivizing the miners to do this, and then the more people that catch on to this, and if big countries get involved, then this could be big, right? This could be something that is good for the economy, good for the whole green bullshit, the whole green thing. I say bullshit, sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody who believes that the earth is dying and that we're the cause of it, because I don't believe that that's the case. I don't believe in the whole global warming nonsense, but that's just me. I'm not here to offend anybody, but it's, all of this are big money grabs in my opinion. And the earth can shake us off like fleas on a dog and we would be done. We will be gone way before the earth ever dies from it. The amount of emission and carbon and all that stuff, they're blaming it on cow farts. They're blaming it on human consumption, and it's negligent. It's negligent what's actually causing anything. And when you hear them talk about global warming, they only go back a certain amount of time, and they say, oh, well, from 1976 to now, the earth is getting warmer. Yep, that might be true. But if you go back from 1908 to now, it's getting colder. If you go back from, 1752 to now, it's warmer. But if you go back from 1500s, it's colder. So it all just depends on where you start, It all just depends on where you start. If I zoom in on a 1-minute chart on Bitcoin, it looks like it's going up. But if I zoom out to a 10-minute chart, it's going down. If I zoom out to a 1-hour chart, it's going up. If I zoom out to the daily, we're in a bull market. If I zoom out, it's all just relative to that when you start looking. But anyway, long story short is that it's a pretty cool project. And they have millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions maybe behind them to accomplish this goal, to save the whole mining operation and to incentivize to leave the rare earth elements in the ground and pay these people. And so if enough people get behind it, yeah, this could be huge. It could get on the major exchanges, and I think they're heading in that direction. It just takes time. But the company behind it has a lot of money. They're bringing projects like this. So, and not only that, but guys, but they have other projects besides Element, and I'm gonna be putting them in the ICO channel here soon. I'm gonna have one of the node guys that I'm friends with, the guy who made millions on Element. I mean, on Gala. I'm gonna have him come and speak on one of our calls. Kind of give you an idea, and that will give you guys the opportunity to buy nodes on some of these other projects if you want to. Now they're not cheap. Sometimes they're a couple grand. Sometimes they're $1,000 or $2,000 per node. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to do it, but it is one of those kind of investments that does take time. I think Gala took 7 months before it finally got listed on a chain. Element, now we're 2 years into Element, and it's still not but it is on an exchange. It's on Dex Tools right now. It is on, you can buy it on Uniswap. You can go on Uniswap and buy it. It is on, you can buy it on Coinbase Wallet. And that is the first step before the Mazer exchange, guys, is it gets on these exchanges wallets first. And then like Pancake Swap and Uniswap, once it gets on there, that's the first step before it gets on major exchanges. So it's getting there. It just could take time. But anyway, you could buy more of it than I have right now, all in one purchase. It took me 2 years to accumulate. The difference is that if this thing ever does go to the moon, I'll still have my nodes minting for me, which is kind of a cool factor. And we have several people in the group who might even be on this call right now, that bought the nodes back a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when we first started talking about it. You know, I just can't, I don't vouch for these companies. All I'm doing is bringing to you the things that I find that could be worthwhile and might be worth the risk. And I've seen other people do quite well with the nodes. All right, guys, we got, what is today? Friday. We got an onboarding starting in 15 minutes. Bill is going to be doing that. I know it's a holiday weekend, but it should be done in time for you to go celebrate. If you're brand new, please get on that onboarding. It is at 2 p.m. Eastern in about 10 minutes from now. Bill shared the link already in the Zoom chat that we're on right now. He also shared it in the Discord group in the main chat, and he also shared it in the announcements channel. In the meantime, let me just go over one more thing here. If you have any questions about Element, you can ask it in the main chat. Just tag me or ask it in the help desk. But really, guys, it's just something. It's an ICO. It's an initial coin offering. It's in the early stages still. Sometimes, you know, these things that you see, like if you go on Coinbase right now and look at the hundreds of tokens that are available on Coinbase, they all went through this process. They were all able to be bought pre-launch on a Coinbase. And by the way, that's where the big money's at. If something's already on Coinbase and like Solana or Doge or any of these things, and they're 50 cents or 40 cents right now, trust me when I tell you, they were 0.000 cents at one point before they made it on those exchanges. You just didn't know about it, and you just didn't know how to get it. That's where Element's at right now. So Bitcoin, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was just reviewing my MetaMask wallet and noticed XYO. Do you think that project still has any legs?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because when I went to MetaMask after not looking at it for a while, I saw like dozens of tokens that I had from ICOs way back in the day, and I kind of laughed at them. But some of them might not ever do anything. XYO, you said, or YXO? I can't remember what it was called.
XYO.
Yeah, let me just look real quick. I might still have some of that too.
I remember back when I came into the group, it was on one of your lists.
Yeah.
And I had it before then. I was kind of relieved to see it on your list.
Yep, I still have quite a bit of it actually. Like 200,000 XYO. It is currently 0.008 cents. It is listed on Coinbase. You can buy it on Coinbase. And I believe it does have the potential at the bull market top, at the top of the next altcoin season to get up to maybe as high as 4 or 5 cents or beyond that. And that would be, if that happened, let's just say 5 cents divided by the current price of 0.0089, that would be a 5 or 6x from where it's at right now. actually gone up over the past. Yeah. It's kind of in that area of most people don't bother buying it because it hasn't been doing anything, and that's really the best time to buy. But if you look at the last 1 year, it's up 53% from a year ago.
I have 220,000.
Cool, cool. If it does hit 5 cents, you know, you make 10 grand on it. Not bad. But if it does get up to 5 or 6 cents, I would consider maybe converting that. Because then we'd probably be going into the next bear market season on altcoins. Let me just see something else on the insights. I think it is part of the XYO ecosystem. It is decentralized. Market cap's 119 million. I mean, it's up 53% in a year. So, I mean, if you just hold it, it could be year over year for all I know. But yeah, I'm still holding it myself. That's why it's on the list. Whatever was on that list, I'm still holding.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up? We got 7 minutes left before the top. Diane says, do all ICOs sell? I know Bill answered this, but I'll answer it also. Do all ICOs sell nodes or also individual purchase of the coin? Most of them do not. Most ICOs are on like what was it? What was the launch pad we used to use?
Pancake swap, PooCoin, Pancake
PooCoin.
swap.
Yeah, Pink Sale.
Pink Sale, that was right.
Pink Sale. So let me show you guys something while we're still here.
Any altcoins look good right now?
Say that again.
Any altcoins look good right now?
Yeah, Chad, get on Chad's calls. Chad definitely goes over the altcoin season. Bill goes over it. These guys are really more into the altcoins. I focus more on the majors like Bitcoin, XRP. But get on Chad's call on Tuesday night for the altcoins. Or just go look at Chad's all right, so I'm going to show you guys this real quick. If you guys want to go find your own ICO, be very careful. There is a website called Pink Sale. When you come to Pink Sale, you want to come over here and go to Launchpads. Launchpad list. These are new tokens that are getting ready to launch for the first time. These are ICOs. And I will tell you right now, even though I'm showing you how to do this, 99% of these are scams and bullshit and will never do anything. So how do you know which ones to get involved in? Well, you see this one's coming up. I mean, they even named it Spamac. I don't even know what that is. You're going to see some really screwed up ones, really weird names. But as you Super Penguin, EcoBuild, NAW, Muba, Eno, Agama, Beaver. Okay, they all got, these are just anybody. Anybody can create a token. Lico, I am who I say I am. I don't know who that is. Heller Gold Token, Stay. These are the names. But notice, only a few have these little boxes. Docs, Audit, KYC. That means that the people who are launching this token have been doxed, meaning documented, audited by Pink Sale, and KYC, meaning know their customer, meaning the Pink Sale has verified who these people are. And they have put their contact information and their reputation on the line. They could steal from you. They could be a ripoff, but they would be arrested. But as you can see, some of them don't do any of that, and they're still allowed to launch tokens. which means they could just take all the money if from all the people that invest in this and just do a rug pull and walk away, and no one would know. No one would be able to find them. So for you, a lot of people get like here's one right here: Fart Agent AI, docs, audited KYC, and all their business credentials. So let's just say you wanted to get involved with it. Oh, this one ended, so I'm not going to look at that one. Let's go back to the one that had this one. The sale is live right now. If I click view, it's going to bring me to this. They even have some YouTube video explaining it. Explains what it's about. Number 2, docs KY. Look, they have a Twitter account. They have a Telegram account, and the sale has already started. You just connect your wallet. You type in the amount that you want to buy. This pre-sale ends in 5 days, 10 hours, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. This is how you look at this, right? Now, when you connect your wallet, you're going to be buying this with BNB. You would need, oh no, this one you need Solana. This is on the Solana network, so you would need Solana token to buy this. When you buy it, it will go into your wallet. And then what you do then is you take the wallet address right here, token address, and then you have the address here. You would take the address, copy it. I believe it's this address. And then you would go to what we call PooCoin. Yes, exactly what it sounds like. PooCoin. P-O-O, coin. It's a app where you can actually see these tokens once they launch. You would type in that token address and it should pull up that token. If it doesn't, then it's not listed yet. And then you go back to Pink Sale and get the other, let's see, it's probably this one right here. I don't know if it's this one. Which one did I just?
I knew it started with a P. They all start with a P for some reason.
Yeah. It's not showing in here yet because it's not live because the pre-sale is still going. But once the pre-sale ends, they're going to list it on PooCoin, and that allows you to then, when the token launches, you'll be able to see the chart and you'll be able to track it. Now, here's what we do. Here's how we make money. Then you connect PooCoin to you click the trade button here and you connect PooCoin to your wallet, your MetaMask or whatever, wherever you have that token you just bought. Here's Vetter token, by the way. We made 45x on Vetter back in the day, doing the same thing. And what happens is the token launches. Let me go to a higher time frame so you can see it. I'll go to the 1 hour chart. When the token launches, a lot of times they shoot up 5x, 10x, 20x, and then they dump, and then they pump back down because people are selling. So what you do is you bought the token on a pre-sale, on an ICO. So you got it at the lowest possible price. And then all of a sudden the token launches and it looks like this in the beginning because there is nothing on the chart because the token doesn't exist yet. It's kind of interesting. You're basically getting in before the sale, before it goes live. This is what it looks like before. And then all of a sudden, boom, they launch on the day that they tell you. And the token just goes, you bought it down here at 0.0005 cents and boom, it shoots up to 0.2 cents. Does anybody know what that is? The amount that is? Let's just do the math. This is how you can make a ton of money, but you can also get wiped out if you don't know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing, guys. So this one went up to 0.2 cents. Oops. 2 cents. Divided by it started at 0.00088. 0.00088. 22x. Imagine if you bought $1,000 or better, and on the day it launches, it goes up 22x. What do? You sell it up here. How do you do that? While you're watching this is on the hourly, so you would go down to like the 1 minute or the 10-minute time frame. While you're watching this go up, you just come up here and you put the token at the top, the one that you just bought, and then you click, put your slippage in, whatever that is, and then you click the sell button, which would be right here. It's not showing me because my wallet's not connected and I don't have any of these tokens. So you just click sell and it immediately swaps that token back to BNB and puts it in your wallet in BNB. So if you would have bought $1,000 worth of this and then sold it at 22x, you would have deposited $22,000 of BNB back in your wallet. By the way, this happened and we were in it. Some of us in our group made $20, $30, $50,000 on this token. I can actually prove it. Who's on this call that remembers that? I think Paul and Bill. Remember that? You can see my buy signals down here. This was way back in 689,000. So we did quite well there. Looks like I still have $139. Wait, the market cap is $139. Total supply is 4 million of this. I don't know what I have. I still have some better token, apparently. I'd have to connect my wallet to see. So that's how you do it. So you go to Pink Sale and you need to make sure it's a legitimate token, and you do that by looking at whether they've been audited in dots. And even that doesn't mean that you can't get rug pulled. It just means that it's less likely to be a scam. But someone could still sell on you once the price gets really high. So you don't be greedy. If you 2x, 3x, 4x. By the way, Paul, who's on this call, at least he was earlier, he took $1,000 or $2,000 and turned it into $30,000. And you know what he did? No matter whether it went 5x, 10x, 20x, or whatever, he always got out when it was at least 2x. So as soon as he hit 2x, he sold. And we were doing this one after another. In fact, let me just pull up Telegram and show you. Here's the Crypto Renegades Telegram group that we had 3 years ago when we were doing this. And if I scroll up here, you'll see this is the Crypto Renegades launch room. I was sharing one ICO after another. Let's just scroll up. Damn, this was way back when.
Nico, which website is this that launches these coins?
Pinksale.finance. www.pink, and we're going to see when you get on there, it's going to show you this. If you click on any one of these tokens, like the one I clicked on here, you just got to be careful. Make sure that they have at least dots audited. Take a screenshot of this, guys. You got to make sure that it has these things. If you see it like Flycoin right here, if you want to go look at this Flycoin, just know that this could probably a scam. Doesn't have any of those. It hasn't been doxed. It hasn't been audited. Nothing. The sale's live. You could take a chance on it, but probably a scam. So don't get involved. You also want to go to their Telegram group. You want to see if there's any real communication happening. By the way, if you really want to understand if you really want to understand how to do this with the ICOs, go into the school, our school.
You said pinksale.com?
Yep. Pinksale.com. Go into the school where Crypto Renegades
Finance.
and go to finance. Yeah. Pinksale.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry. But go into our school system right here, guys, and go to how to ICO. Click on that. And we got step-by-step tutorials showing you how to do everything that I was just talking about. Understanding the ICO process, the crypto J curve, token launch fundamentals, Telegram scam, airdrop scam, understanding rug pulls, honeypots, how it all works. This is why this is in here, guys. And then, using MetaMask, how to buy the tokens, all that stuff. We go over it all in here. Using dApps, which stands for decentralized apps. Live ICO examples. So all of that's in there for you. And it is fun. Don't get me wrong. We had a good time and we made a lot of money. But the problem with it now is that so many scams are out there now. We don't trust it anymore. So we don't do that anymore. But there's still money to be made, and there's still people that do it, obviously. It's just that there's so many scammers, and it's not like what it used to be a couple of years ago. That's why I would stick to the ones that I share in our Discord, because those are not only vetted, but they're put on by major companies that have millions behind them, and they're not pump and dumps. They're not rug pulls.
Is there an easy way to research companies that are ready to put out new ICOs?
Yeah, so the best places go to Coin Market Cap website, Coin Market Cap. And once you get the Coin Market Cap, go up here to cryptocurrencies, drop down and go over here to upcoming sales. And there should be a list. Well, this is upcoming NFT collection. Let's see. You want to go to ICO calendar. I'm sorry, not upcoming sales. Go to products, go to ICO calendar. And as you can see, nothing showing here. Upcoming, nothing showing. There's a reason. They stopped. They used to give you a list, but that's because there's been so many scams they're probably not even showing them anymore. All projects, but sometimes you'll see them here. And then these are ones that you would then go and do research on. But the other way is just go to Pink Sale, the one I just showed you. Pink Sale is listing hundreds of them every day. Brand new tokens launching. You just have to be able to decipher which one's real or not. And the best way to do that is go into our school system and watch the steps that we go over here, how to avoid the scams. Because you might think one looks good, but watch this rug pull scam first so you understand what to look for. Honeypot scam, Telegram scam, so that you understand what to look for in their Telegram to make sure they're legit first before you actually buy into it. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time on that right now. There's a whole process. We have a whole training system we spent a lot of time putting together for you guys. Yasser says, Element on DEX swap. When I try to purchase with Ethereum, it says that the price impact is too high and it won't swap. How do I buy? You need to increase your what's it called? Somebody will probably answer that question. Slippage. That's what I was going to try to say. Bill said slippage. Break up the transaction, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there is a way to do it. And what that basically is telling you is that the price impact is too high, meaning it's going to cost you more Ethereum than what you're getting back in that coin. In other words, you might spend $100 worth of Ethereum to get $50 worth of that coin. That's going to sound like a ripoff to you, right? And technically it is, because Ethereum's transaction fees are ridiculous. And that does stop a lot of people from doing these kinds of things, but that doesn't mean you can't make a lot of money doing it. It's just the cost of doing it is what it is. It's the cost of business, cost of participating. All right, guys. So let's just quickly look here at the daily. Let's look at the weekly. Let me just give you my little final outlook here before we wrap it up. We do have a big red candle here on the daily. From that top right here, we went up to 110.5, 110.6, and now we're dropping back into this channel right now. So far, we did dip down to about 107.4 and pump back up a little bit to 107.9. But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. It would have to get above. I would say 108.5. Go down to the hourly. So that's what's happening right now. All it's done, it hasn't done anything. So all it's done is come down to 107.4 and come back up to retest. Is it above it? Is it below it? Hard to tell. It could wick above and come back below. Wick above, come back below. It went above here, fell back below, went above here, fell back below, retested, went above, come back below. It's either retesting or it's wicking above a little bit and it's going to fall back below. We'll see. But as you can see, This is where it had resistance before it broke above, and it's come back below, and it's retesting right now. If it holds, also, it could also wick right up to this downward trend line, which is the overall. And I don't even have it at the tops of all the wicks. So if I did that and really put it there, we could just be in this apex for a little while today, where it does one of these little jobs where it goes like this. It's either going to fall back below now, or it's going to go like this and either fall back below then or break out to the upside, one or the other. But things are looking a little bearish today because we came back below this downward trend. Not only below that, but we came back, we couldn't get higher than this, which was the triple top over the last 3 times it attempted it at the 110.5 zone. And then not only did we fall back down, but we not only fall back down, but we fell back down below. This was the only time we got above this line, and we fell back below it already. And not only below that, but even further below this. So, I don't know. Going into a weekend, holiday weekend, a little slump in the market could just be temporary. We could reattempt this here soon. We are in a bull market, remember. And then also keep in mind this. Take a line and draw it from the bottom here and connect these dots here. And have we hit it? Have we hit that yet? Don't think so. We hit it here, here, and here, and we're still a little bit away from it. There's an apex right there. I think that the breakout is imminent, but we are in a little bit of an apex if you count the downward trend line here, this upward trend line here, and where we're at right now. And so to me, we could just be in this for a minute until probably till later on this weekend, the end of the weekend, and then either break out one way or the other. It's either going to be that way or this way, right? I'm still short. Let's see what happens. Let's go back one more time, just let me check. Be careful on pink sale, guys. And also you're going to see up here, you see, make sure the website is pinksale.finance. Because you might go to Pink Sale or search Pink Sale and click on it and go thinking that you're on Pink Sale Finance, but you're on pinksale.com or pinksale.net or some other Pink Sale, and that's a fake site. So they even have a warning right here. Make sure you're on pinksale.finance. If you are going to play around with one of these without going through our training in our school section, just make sure you're not risking a lot. Make sure you're just going through the motions with $10 or $20 so that it doesn't matter if you lose it, just so you understand what's going on first. Do not play around with a lot of money on those things. All right. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm still up on those shorts right now, at least one of them. Because we're doing a little bouncing right here, but I have a feeling that we might just be retesting this line and coming back. We will see. I will keep you posted throughout the day and the weekend. I will do maybe an update or a video update tomorrow, depending on what's going on. It is a holiday weekend, so guys, go enjoy yourself. Try to have fun. Try to relax. But if you have any questions, just post it in the main chat. If you're new, I'm sure you, hopefully you got on to Bill's onboarding. Any other questions before we wrap it up? My PC says, can I ask your opinion on Femex allowing stocks like NVIDIA and Hood to be tokenized? I have no idea if those happen. I'm sure if they do, they will add it, but I don't know. I can't answer that. Yeah, sir. Go through the course material as well before you play around too much with we do show you in there how to swap tokens as well. Also, you can go in the help desk and Bill will be happy to help you do that. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the chat. Happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. Thank you for your for your service. If you are military, if you are responsible for us being free, thank you very much. We appreciate you, and I will talk to you guys soon. See you later.
Hey, Nico.
Yes.
Just one quick question. Your guy that thinks the market might crash, did he give you like a timeline this year, next year, or at all? That he
They're
thinks?
short. They're short now, just so you know.
Uh, okay.
It's not
Got you.
they're short. They're buying puts.
Gotcha.
And then they think all the markets are going down. But listen, if you think I sound doom and gloom sometimes, you should hear these guys. But I mean, he called the last dump when we dumped from 6150 on the S&P down to 4500. He called it like a day or a couple days before it happened. By the way, I don't know if you guys remember, but I also shared that in the Discord in the announcement channel here. Let me just scroll up to remind you. It was a while ago. It was probably February. Let me see if I can find it. This is very interesting, by the way. Watch this. You guys might recall. Probably a better way to find this, but I'm scrolling in. Let me see. Because I don't remember the date. Anybody remember when the S&P dropped from 61.5 down to the 4,500 zone?
I think it started going up around April 7th.
I think it was in February.
All right. You're gonna be impressed here. This is what I posted. There we are. I posted this on March 4th. S&P 500 double top, probable drop to the 5,200 from 6,100 all-time high. No one expects this. You won't hear about stagflation on the news. 100% probability of market crash. This is where we were when I posted this right here we just came below 6,000. We were at 6,150. Monday, March 3rd. And I had this drawn, arrow down to here, down to the 40. What I have a line drawn down here, down to the 5,200 zone. And what did it do? It came all the way down below that, even further, all the way down to 40. I can't remember exactly, but 4,500 maybe. And basically, these guys are calling for that again. We came all the way back up and made a new high, right? At 6,200. I don't know what it is right now. What's the S&P right now? But we made a new high, and people are like, oh, the public, the mainstream is like, oh, the S&P's at an all-time high. It's never been this high before. Well, it was close. A couple months ago, it was at 6,150. No one expected that crash either back then. So just keep that in the back of your head here.
It's about 62.79 right now.
Yeah, so it is all-time highs, guys. It's all-time high. So was it right here? This was all-time high. When I shared this, all-time high. You think anybody was expecting that it would crash right then? No, some people were drawing their trend lines here, saying, oh, it's coming down, it's going to bump back up, and it's going to go to 7,000. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun when you're right, sucks when you're wrong. I've had days in here where I had 20 trades in a row, all winners, all hitting TPs, just, everything you touch turns to gold. Everybody's like, man, you're the greatest, everything's awesome. And then all of a sudden you have one stop loss hit and everybody's like, oh man, I just lost everything. This sucks. Okay. Yeah, that's how it works sometimes. You're the hero when things are going good, and then you're the bad guy when someone loses money. But guys, you got to remember, I am, all we're doing is reading the charts and giving probabilities, and the probability, we're not always right, that's for sure. I had probably a 75% win ratio. Chad over the last month is like 93%. Someone actually sent me a message saying, Nico, I back tested all of your signals and you were only right 48% of the time. I don't know how you're getting 70% of the time. I'm like, well, and then I found out what he was doing is he was only looking at how many times it hit the TP. Well, yeah, it doesn't hit the TP more than 50% of the time, but that doesn't mean it's a losing trade because we move our stop loss into profit at 15% or greater. And if it hits your stop loss in profit, it's still a winning trade. So he didn't count all those. So he was incorrect. I consider a winner when we close the trade in profit, not necessarily hitting the TP. The TP is just the next resistance or the next support level. It may not go that far, but anyway, with all that being said, guys, we're in interesting times right now. We are at a top. There's no doubt about it. We've been over 100 grand for Bitcoin for months and months and months. We dipped down a little bit below for a couple of days at 98K, and we popped right back above 100, which is awesome. But we also, we've been at 112. We haven't been able to get back above that yet. I say, because we will be above it. It's just a matter of when. And whether it's going to be over the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months, that's something I just can't predict. So what I would say is look for us getting below certain levels. If we get below, let's say 107, we're going to probably go to 105. And if we get below 105, we're going to go down to 101. And if we get below that, we're going to go back into the 90s. And if we get below 70, it's a bear market. If we stay above 70, we still have a chance to run up to 150. So there's always that chance. But if you go back and look at history on the higher time frames, you're going to see 30 to 60, 70% pullbacks multiple times and then new highs after that. So don't be scared when you see a big drop. That's why they say buy the dips, right? When you see those big drops, that's when you go long and you get in, but you got to know when. Don't just do it when you see the first sign of a big drop, because it could drop much further before it bounces. And just like big pumps to the upside, they never, ever continue going in that direction. If you see a big pump to the upside, there's always a big consolidation or a big pullback. So that's why we say, do not try to catch a falling knife. Do not try to chase a trade. Chasing just means it's moving in a direction. It's moving. And you're like, Nico, should I get in? It's going up. That's called FOMO. Your fear of missing out. You think you're missing something. And sometimes if it's going up, and you get in right here, it already did its thing. It's already went up, and then it turns on you and goes down. You're like, shit, I got it at the worst time. Yeah, because if you didn't get in before it started pumping, you're already too late. If you weren't in on the proper trade setup before the breakout, then just wait for the next one. And some people, they get so much FOMO that they feel like they're missing out that they want to get in no matter what. And that's when you lose. That's when you trying to catch that falling knife, as we say. If it's already dropped a lot, do not short. Wait for the bounce. Because if you try to go short, it's like trying to catch a falling knife. You might get cut. You might still continue down. So, and by the way, don't worry if you missed it trade. The next bus is coming in 15 minutes. Don't worry. There's always a next trade set up. So that's my advice for the day, guys. Just don't feel like don't get FOMO. I know it's easy to say, it's hard to do, especially when you miss a day or two here and you come in and see all these big gains someone made. You're like, shit, I missed it. What happened? And then you go and try to jump in on that trade when it's too late. Sell the news, as they say. Buy, buy the how's the slogan go? I can't remember. My brain's not working. Buy the rumor, sell the news, as they used to say in the stock market. You buy the rumor and you sell the news. What that means is when they're talking about it in the news, guys, it's too late. When you hear Kramer talking about it, it's too late. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. If you need me, just send me a DM. But if it's urgent, now is the time to ask if it's urgent, because I might not check the DMs for a little while. Better to ask in the main chat and just tag me there, then I'll see it. All right, guys, but I'll keep you posted if I see any changes, but we're still in that short, and right now we're in profit, and it looks like it could continue down for the rest of the weekend. But if it doesn't, I'll be first to let you know. All right, go through those training videos. If you want to learn about ICOs, go in the ICO section. Definitely watch those first before you go jumping into those, though. All right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy it, and we'll see you. I'll be back on Monday live, and I'll be in the chat 24/7 since till then.
Have a good one. Thank you.